Now on WRDE Coast TV.
We're starting the new week on the wet side. Grab the umbrella and raincoat out the door. Watch for ponding on the roads due to the heavy rain. I'll let you know when the rain ends and what to expect the rest of the week coming up next.
A slow start to the summer for blood donations in the U.S. How this is playing into a local shortage for the blood bank of Delmarva.
Fins to the left, we're talking about air rights in Ocean City, the next step in the proposed Margaritaville resort project in the town. Constitution celebration, the event held honoring Delaware's role in establishing the United States.
Richmond will race home. He's going to tag up the Orioles. They have clinched a posage spot, and they have also walked it off.
Birds are heading back to the playoffs, the dramatic clincher Sunday at the Yards.
From the beaches to the bay, coverage you can count on. WRDE Coast TV News Today. Your morning news starts right now.
And welcome to our 6 o'clock hour. It is Monday, September 18th, 2023. Good morning. I'm Matt Pensick. Paige Marley is off on this Monday morning. Big rain a few hours ago, still a factor in some areas. And for that, we're going to bring in First Alert meteorologist Bob Trihey. He joins us now with a look at First Alert weather. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Matt. It has been a soaker indeed, about a ½ to an inch of rain across many areas this morning, and it continues to rain. We can see that across Delaware right now. We're starting to lose some of the yellow a little bit in the radar echoes, but the green still indicating some of that moderate rain now, and we're seeing that back through Milford, Bridgeville. You're seeing some heavy rain near Greenwood as well. Back towards Lewis, Dewey Beach, back through Ocean View, Millsboro, still seeing the rain, back through Laurel, and a good chunk of eastern Maryland also seeing it, as is areas around Salisbury and back into Nanticoke as well. A little drier along the coast. We continue to watch the rain coming up the coast. We've got low pressure and a cold front that continues to trigger the rain. Out the door, temperatures into the 60s, and we're seeing light winds, which will eventually shift to the northwest. And we'll see the heavy rain through mid-morning, or at least a steady rain, and then that will start to taper off to mostly cloudy skies. And I think we will start to see more sunshine into the afternoon hours with temperatures into the 70s. So once we get through the morning rain, grab the umbrella. You'll need the shades for the afternoon. We've got some nice weather coming up this week. I'll talk about that coming up in just a little bit.
All right, thanks a lot, Bob. And we start a new week with a blood emergency across Sussex County. The Blood Bank of Delmarva announced it is low on supply. It's urging people to donate. Coast TV News reporter Heidi Kirk is in the newsroom. And Heidi, the shortage in Delaware is actually part of a national blood emergency.
Good morning, Matt and Bob. I spoke with the Blood Bank of Delmarva last week, and what they told me is that pretty much all summer they've been a little bit short at all 5 of their donation centers. And now it's worse than ever, which isn't good because that blood is used at many local hospitals and for paramedics as well. So when it comes down to it, they're pressing the alarm bells and saying they need help. Now, it's short for a few different reasons, and let me go ahead and break those down for you. Number one, the blood bank says there's always a lull after kids go back to school, and when after school activities pick up, parents just have less time to get into these donation centers. Now, additionally, there's also more travel that goes on as summer comes to a close, causing the same issue. Now, normally when local shortages strike, the blood banks will turn to national organizations like the American Red Cross, but this time around, just about everyone is short on supply. So if you are able, pretty much all of these organizations are putting out one message: donate if you can, and they say specifically they are short on type O blood. So if you are that type of blood, go out and donate. Anything helps. Back to you.
Now, Heidi, you've been mentioning this national shortage. The American Red Cross is also asking for help.
And Matt, like I said, the American Red Cross is urging pretty much everyone, no matter where you are located, to get out and donate if you can. They say specifically the hurricane has had a big impact on this, and they say any little bit helps. And again, we have those options for donating locally and nationally on our website, WRDE.com. Back to you.
All right, Heidi Kirk in our newsroom. Thank you for that. Well, happening today, we're going to move over to this. One man has been charged with assault after police say he hit one woman with a garden rake and another in the face after an argument. According to Delaware State Police, 51-year-old Richard Wesson of Seaford had reportedly trespassed onto the woman's property before the alleged assault. The agency says that on Thursday, officers were called to a home in Bridgeville where they say one woman had puncture wounds from the garden rake. Police say Weston hit the other woman in the face, causing a swollen eye, and they say that he is being held on over $80,000 cash bond. Well, now we're going to move to that Margaritaville story. It's the will they or won't they over the proposed resort in Ocean City. It continues, and tonight, a public hearing will take place. It will focus on the air above Washington Lane. That's between 13th and 14th Street. Meanwhile, another meeting set for October that will focus on the closure of Washington Lane and determine if it's needed for public use. Also happening today, Dagsboro is the latest community in our area to consider banning the sale and production of marijuana. New town ordinance to do just that. It's on the agenda for a town council meeting that's slated for tonight at 6 p.m. We have a traffic update in Milford to tell you about. The intersection of Southeast 2nd Street and Marshall Street is changing for a year. The city is making it a four-way flashing signal today, and drivers should treat it like a four-way stop sign. The move comes after a traffic study and concerns about speeding. A Constitutional Day ceremony took place over the weekend in Georgetown. Kicks off National Constitution Week, and the ceremony commemorated the day the final draft of the Constitution was signed. At the event, organizers participated in ringing of the bells across America. This is where organizers rang a bell 13 times in honor of the original 13 colonies who voted to pass the Constitution. The ceremony included a speaker and other readings of the Constitution, Bill of Rights, and amendments, and organizers of the event say learning about the history of the Constitution is very important.
This is where our freedom lies, and we need to protect it. And to protect it, we have to talk about it so that everybody knows what we believe.
National Constitution Week, first observed starting in 1956. Oriole fans, this one is for you. Yesterday at Camden Yards, the Orioles' 11th inning win over the Rays clinched the team's first playoff berth in 7 years. This has been a long rebuild, including, frankly, some of the worst baseball in MLB history, with seasons of over 105 losses recently, 3 times in a 4-year span. But the Birds are back in the playoffs, and now they have eyes on a division crown. President Joe Biden offered a quick comment on the Republican-led House impeachment inquiry. That's when he was asked about it by reporters on Sunday. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy announced Tuesday that he was directing 3 House committees to launch an impeachment inquiry into the millions of dollars received by the president's son, brother, and other family members by foreign businesses, including those in communist China. The president was asked about his response to the inquiry while returning to the White House from Delaware. He answered with a smile and told reporters lots of luck. A potential government shutdown is getting closer each day this month. Some progress was made over the weekend. A group of House Republicans have come to terms on a short-term funding bill. However, nothing's set in stone, and the clock is still ticking. John Lawrence shows us details of the bill and what could be to come when it expires.
There's less than 2 weeks for Capitol Hill to try and prevent the government from going broke and be forced to close its doors.
I do hope that we can avoid a government shutdown. In 2013, when Republicans shut down the government back then, it was very, very costly to millions of Americans.
6 Republican members of the House, 3 from the House Freedom Caucus, and 3 with the Main Street Caucus, closed a deal Sunday on a short-term spending plan they hope will prevent a shutdown. But will the rest of the GOP conference give it the nod?
We will do that this week. I gave them an opportunity this weekend to try to work through this, and we'll bring it to the floor, win or lose, and show the American public who's for the Department of Defense.
Republican sources close to the matter say the agreement has a 31-day continuing resolution that comes with a GOP-approved border security package. But some House conservatives are already giving the idea a thumbs down.
I strongly support their effort to stand firm and demand the kind of budget cuts necessary to make a small down payment on fiscal responsibility and reform.
In the meantime, the deadline is inching closer.
The House Republican Civil War is hurting hard-working American taxpayers and limiting our ability to be able to solve problems on their behalf.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
And if House Republicans approve the bill, it will likely be squashed by the Democrat-led Senate, which means Congress wouldn't be any closer to preventing a potential shutdown.
Good morning, Delmarva. I'm Coast TV News anchor Charlie Sakaitis. Here are a few things coming up this week. Ocean City preparing for its special event zone. That starts on Tuesday. It began as a way to tackle a pop-up car rally. Cars are known for doing burnouts, drag racing, and speeding during the event. Now, to combat that, the town reduces speed limits to 30 miles per hour and increases the fines and penalties for violations. The Gordons Pond Trail will be closed on Tuesday for its routine maintenance. The trail is going to be completely impassable while it's closed. Also this week, Rehoboth Beach tackling pollution of a different kind. On Thursday, the city's Dark Skies initiative is on the table. Past ideas included adjusting lights on the boardwalk to reflect downward and changing the bulbs. Noise pollution is also being discussed. Be sure to download our Coast TV News app and stay up to date on all the news and weather. Have yourselves a great morning.
Plenty of news to get to on this edition of Coast TV News Today. Coming up, Festival Hispano was held over the weekend and Coast TV Gang was in attendance. We'll show you why culture is more than just a word. Also, we got a truck crash in Salisbury to tell you about, injuries resulting after that tow truck went off the road. The Ocean City Beach Patrol has updated surf restrictions as conditions have changed due to Hurricane Lee. The rules you need to know before going into the water. All that and more as Coast TV News Today continues.
It starts with our oldest family tradition, artisan bread, topped with the finest hand-sliced meats and cheeses. Add in the freshest locally grown produce. But don't forget the In our house, it's not just a hoagie, it's a primo.
All the natural light of the great outdoors, right in your dining room. Shell Brothers, find your great indoors. All the solitude of the outdoors, without the bad Wi-Fi connection. Shell Brothers, find your great indoors.
Draper Media presents the Shore Living Expo, celebrating health, wealth, and home. Saturday, September 30th from 10 to 4 at the Wicomico Youth and Civic Center. Brought to you by Spicer Brothers and Pohanka. Great demonstrations and interviews with Delmarva Life's Lisa and Jimmy on the expo stage, along with prizes and fun, including a weekend getaway to the Poconos from Destinations by Donaway. From crafts to home services, boats, cars, and RVs, this is a free event you don't want to miss. Go to WBOCevents.com.
Dinosaur Adventure roars into Salisbury. One weekend only. Wicomico Civic Center. With life-size dinosaurs and massive family fun. Experience the thrill of the prehistoric age, featuring the ferocious T-Rex, Triceratops, Velociraptor, and more. Go on a realistic fossil dig. Take a ride on your favorite dinosaur. Bounce around in the prehistoric playground and a baby dinosaur meet and greet. Take an amazing dinosaur adventure. This weekend only. Wicomico Civic Center. Tickets at dinosauradventure.com.
It starts with our oldest family tradition, artisan bread, topped with the finest hand-sliced meats and cheeses. Add in the freshest locally grown produce. But don't forget the In our house, it's not just a hoagie, it's a primo.
Just about 6:13 on this Monday morning, a rainy one for most of us, including Seaford. Their Tidal Health Cam showing the low clouds, and it is raining out there. Not everybody's seeing the rain. In fact, starting to get a little lull through Ocean View, Bottom Hills, and Millsboro, but points west and north. Still seeing the rain and some heavier rain here at Coast TV in Milton. We could hear it on the roof back through Georgetown, and also Millsboro seeing some rain now. You'll get a little break for a little while. Sharptown into areas of eastern Maryland also seeing the rain. Salisbury seeing some showers, but here's our little lull that's moving to the north. So just a little dry period before we see more rain that's building in southern part of Delmarva. It's all tied to low pressure and a frontal system that's squeezing out all this rain right now. Out the door, temperatures into the 60s. It's going to be a wet time on the boardwalk in Bethany Beach for a few hours. Then we dry it out late morning and sunshine into the afternoon and temperatures in the 70s.
Update on surf conditions along our coast. Impact of Hurricane Lee. Ocean City Beach Patrol made a few changes to surfing restrictions, so here are some of them that are now in effect. Surfers must always wear a leash that's attached to their boards. Surfers must also grant right-of-way to swimmers at all times. Skimboards and stand-up paddleboards with paddles, they are currently not permitted. This morning, Ocean City Police continue their efforts in gathering information into what they are calling malicious destruction of property. We have a photo we're going to show you. Police are attempting to identify the people in this picture. This all happened in the town at a restaurant on South Baltimore Avenue. It was reportedly right around midnight Saturday. The Ocean City Police Department is asking for assistance for any information about this case. Two of the big three American automakers are laying off employees as a result of the United Auto Workers strike. Ford says 600 employees at a Michigan subassembly and stamping plant were told not to report to work because they rely on the final assembly and paint departments, which are on strike. GM said about 2,000 employees in Kansas City will be laid off because the plant depends on parts from a Missouri plant, which is also on strike. The union criticized the GM and Ford layoffs and threatened to expand the strike to additional plants. Generac recalled around 64,000 portable generators in the midst of hurricane season. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission says the generators pose a fire and burn risk. The CPSC says there's been at least 3 incidents resulting in severe burn. The recall comes at a time when many generators are used in the aftermath of storms. And this year's Atlantic hurricane season ends November 30th.
Not seeing any hurricanes nearby now. Thankfully, we don't have to talk about Lee anymore. That's a good thing. We're starting to see the light come about. Daybreak is coming on. Sun's up in about a half hour. Rehoboth Beach, it is wet and wet for many of us, and that rain continues until late this morning. And then some sunshine this afternoon. The week ahead looks pretty nice. Then another chance of rain is possible into next weekend. I'll track it all on Futurecast coming up after the break.
When choosing windows and doors for your home, at Pella, it's your choice. We manufacture maintenance-free vinyl, fiberglass, and wood-clad windows and patio doors, all with lifetime warranties. High performance, energy efficient, and loaded with options to help make your house your home. Industry-first features and benefits make living easier and increase your home's value. Visit our Experience Center or call us today to schedule your free in-home consultation, where we bring the showroom to you.
Today at 4 on Coast Life, hit the road in style with OC's first ever RV and van lifestyle event. Step into fall with fresh looks from VP Shoes. And we enjoy pumpkin spice delights from Cafe Rendezvous. Coast Life today at 4 on Coast TV.
Have fun and enjoy Delmarva's Coast with Petey the Peacock, Coast TV's feathered friend and sharing joy coast-wide. Know where he's going to be next and get his free coloring book at peteythepeacock.com. Brought to you by Tidal Health.
It was an older porch with concrete. There were stains on the floor. My wife, who researches everything, decided to look at Pinnacle Concrete Coatings. They explained the entire process, and it was right on track. They got it done in a day, and things were bright and clean, and everybody seemed to appreciate it all that much more. The quality is high-end, and the lifetime warranty can't be beat. I would more than say yes, you ought to recommend them. They were right on time. They explained it clearly. They worked with our schedule. They got it done, and it is perfect.
Stanley Steamer gets your home cleaner.
Allergies aren't fun for anyone, especially when they work their way into your home. But professional air duct cleaning from Stanley Steamer can dramatically improve indoor air quality and significantly reduce indoor allergens. Installing our whole home purification system Restore will even help prevent the spread of airborne viruses and bacteria. If you want to significantly reduce allergy triggers in your home, call or go online to book a free inspection today.
.618 here on a Monday morning. You're getting a live look in Lewis with our tunnel and razor camera. Have some challenges there, Bob. Sun hasn't risen yet. It's cloudy, so even that sort of that early morning light as the sun's trying to make her, we're not getting that because of the clouds from this rain.
Not, and it's always tough to get motivated on a Monday morning when it's raining out there. It takes a little longer to get the kids ready for school, get the rain gear, the umbrellas, the rain boots, all that stuff, Matt. So we are in the rain now, and we are going to be in the rain for a couple more hours. And make sure you have the Coast TV weather app handy. It's easy to download or grab. You can do it by getting your phone in camera mode and just putting it right up to the QR code, and you'll get it right there. Clouds and radar, we continue to see the moisture funneling in from the south. We're seeing the rain getting a little break now in Millsboro, Westwood, Selbyville, back through Ocean View. So I think a little gap in the rain, I think, for the coastal areas for the next couple of hours. But Seaford seeing the rain. Georgetown, we had some heavy rain in Milton, Ellendale, back through Bryant Park, Bridgeville. There's that little break from the rain, southeast parts of Delaware into northeast parts of Maryland. Also seeing the rain around Cambridge, Bucktown, Robbins. So watch out for ponding on the roads, maybe some local flooding in poor drainage areas. And we're seeing that little gap in the rain farther to the south across northern Maryland. But there is more. Southern tip of Delmarva back into the Newport News area and the Tidewater of Virginia. So more of that rain is coming up the coast as low pressure is developing to our south with the frontal system. So it's just squeezing it out right over the top of us. We've got temperatures in the 60s right now. So it's a cool rain, and the winds will start to shift to the west and northwest as the cold front comes through. We're seeing some of that moderate to heavy rain this morning. It starts to taper off a little later this morning, and then by noon, we're into a northwesterly flow, getting a little breezy, some breaks of sun, and temperatures slowly rising into the 70s. Then I think we are in full sunshine later this afternoon with middle 70s inland, and then we're looking at a cool night. It's still going to be on the breezy side, I think, and by morning, yeah, look at that. Temperatures into the mid-50s, and then I think by Tuesday afternoon, mid to upper 70s should do it. We will see that northerly wind gusty at times shifting to the northwest, kind of adding a chill to the air tonight, coming in out of the west, gusting up to 20 miles per hour at times, and still coming out of the west on Tuesday. Here's our muggy meter. We do get a break from the humidity for a couple of days into the comfortable range. It goes up a little bit Wednesday and Thursday, and then back into the comfortable range by the end of the week. And we do have a chance of weekend rain. It looks like some kind of area of low pressure will be developing to our south, and it could give us wind and rain and maybe heavy rain as we go into Saturday night, and into Sunday as well. Maybe not as heavy on Sunday, but keep that in mind for your weekend plans that it could be a wet and windy one. Your Paul Davis 7-day forecast, 75 today, morning rain, afternoon sun, then it cools off and dries out. 76 Tuesday, 56 Tuesday morning, down to 54 on Wednesday morning with a high of 78. Pretty much the same on Thursday. Clouds increase on Friday, 75. And there's the weekend rain. We'll be watching that. It could be a soaker, could be kind of windy. We'll be watching it with highs in the 70s, lows in the 60s.
All right, thanks, Bob. And a reminder, you can hear Coast TV news and weather updates throughout the day on our family of radio stations right there on your screen. Coast Country 103.9 and 106.3, 93.5 The Beach, and Big 107.7. Got developing news out of Milton. Nearly 100 apartments could be coming near the banks of the Broadkill. According to town documents, an entity called Chestnut Properties is looking to build 96 apartments. We're showing the location on your screen. This would be off of Cave Neck Road near Sam Lucas Road. A preliminary site plan approval is scheduled to be heard Tuesday night. This morning, police in Salisbury, they're attempting to determine the cause of a crash that happened Sunday. It resulted in one person being taken to the hospital. This was on the Salisbury bypass. Have some photos from the Salisbury Fire Department to show you. Firefighters say a tow truck hauling another truck crashed into several trees near Snow Hill Road. After the break, Festival Españo is held over the weekend to celebrate Hispanic culture. Stay tuned on Coast TV News Today for a look at all the fun that took place.
Delmarva's hit music station, 102.5 WBOC.
With all the choices of services around Delmarva, where do you even begin? Trust experts of various fields offering the best of Delmarva, including Kitchen Concepts Plus, Chesapeake Eye Center, Apple Discount Drugs, Porch Protection Systems, FLC Energy, Spicer Brothers Construction, Mattress Peddlers, Homewell Care Services, Robinson's Jewelry and Coin Shop, Delmarva Acupuncture and Wellness Center, Delmarva Canine, Mast Audiology Services, Riptide Restoration, Active Pest Solutions, Atlantic Tactical Firearms Trainers, Delmarva Dave, and Buchanan Subaru. Delmarva experts, local experts, right when you need them.
Scoops and scores and Friday night lights. Football coverage like you've never seen before on the Delmarva Sports Network. Live game of the night every Friday, including the pre-half and post-game show, Scoops and Scores. Plus, we'll take you around Delmarva for the latest real-time scores during Friday night lights. Tune in to DSN Friday nights this fall season. Scoops and scores and Friday Night Lights only on the Delmarva Sports Network. Local teams, big dreams.
First Alert Weather is our promise to be the first to tell you when big changes are coming in your weather forecast.
Whether it's day-to-day weather that changes your plans,
or severe weather that could change your life.
The First Alert Weather team will call for First Alert Weather Days.
Here on TV and all of your devices.
It's our commitment to give you the most accurate forecast.
The First Alert Weather team, that's our promise to you.
We're Coast Country, and we're Delmarva proud.
It is Hispanic Heritage Month. This runs from September 15th to October 15th. It's a period that covers the Independence Days for several Spanish-speaking countries. And the month is a time to celebrate the histories, cultures, and contributions of Hispanic people who live in the U.S. On Sunday, all of that on display in Georgetown with Festival Hispano. Coast TV News reporter Carmen Holland shows us how culture isn't just a word, but a feeling.
Festival Hispano, a celebration of the Hispanic culture, from Honduras, Puerto Rico, Mexico, and Guatemala, to name a few. They showed up and showed out right here in Georgetown.
We used to have like 2,000 or 3,000 people. Now on average we have 20,000 people every year. So it's a big deal.
Bill West, the mayor of Georgetown, says this event represents what makes Georgetown special.
The Hispanic community is probably 47 to 49%. So they're a big part of this town. People need to come out here and be part of, to see the smiling faces, to see the Hispanic children that are going to be here in the future, to see some of the businesses that are Hispanic.
And when you think of the rich Hispanic cultures, you can't forget the food and drinks from all over. From tacos, arepas, empanadas, elote, to specialty drinks. Candy Gonzalez says this event is good for the Hispanic community who could use a little fun.
A great way to for the parents and community to come see the things that are here localized, because most people don't really have time to come out and see what there actually is here, since most of the Hispanics here are working.
And for Georgetown and beyond to embrace the Hispanic culture.
I wanted the people to learn about us. I wanted the people to try our food, to see our traditions, to dance our music, and to know us better. We are good people. We are hardworking people who are part of this country, and we want to make sure they are, engaging with who we are.
People just use stereotype, but when you come here, there's so much more. A great way to see what Georgetown is actually about.
Festival Hispano will be back next year. Organizers tell me they already have 3 musical acts signed up. In Georgetown, I'm Carmen Holland, Coast TV News.
And we have some more pictures from Festival Hispano to show you. Here's one of myself with Ana Sofia Romana and Jeanette Gallardo from Telemundo Delmarva. Bob and Paige were there too, along with, yes, that is Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams. And that is the most tame picture I was able to find of that lot that you sent me, Bob. We're going to go to First Alert Meteorologist Bob Trahi. Bob, we were talking about the food we had there. It was sunny on Sunday. It might not seem like it now, but the sun will also be in play later today.
We all had smiles on our faces, except for one guy in those pictures. Paul, being silly. But yes, it was a great time yesterday at the festival. Met a lot of friendly people. The weather cooperated. Got a little cloudy later in the day. And today, we've got the rain early, and the sun will come out later today. Here's our UV index brought to us by Face of Grace. They practice in sun safety. A 5 today because the sun will be a little late to the game, coming out a little later. But then I have us in the very high range Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Use extra caution there. And then back to the high range on Friday. And once again, when that sun is out in full, the higher SPF, midday shade, limit time outdoors, and avoid the sun late morning into early afternoon. The rest of the week, once we get through the rain, is looking good. I'll have that forecast coming up.
On Coast TV News today, Donald Trump's lawyers filing once again to have the judge in the election interference case recused. The new reasons, they say they're pushing for this move. Also, the Milton Fire Department putting its new engine to use, the features this engine has, and the national blood shortage hits Delmarva, the factors that could have contributed to the decrease in supply. Coast TV News today. We'll be right back.
Elevate your business and engage more customers with Draper Media. Our diverse network of media properties such as WBOC, WRDE, 93.5 The Beach, and 102.5 WBOC reaches over 500,000 Delmarva residents across various channels like television, radio, social media, and digital platforms. Enhance your brand's visibility across the Delmarva region with Draper Media. Our passionate team of media specialists and content creators are dedicated to showcasing your brand through engaging commercials, dynamic drone footage, eye-catching graphic and web design, and social media branding. Share your brand story on our popular programs, capturing the attention of your target audience. Trust your brand with Draper Media, a family-oriented company serving the Delmarva community. Contact Frank Hamilton today at fhamilton@wboc.com to get started.
Dinosaur Adventure roars into Salisbury. One weekend only. Wacomico Civic Center. With life-size dinosaurs and massive family fun. Experience the thrill of the prehistoric age, featuring the ferocious T-Rex, Triceratops, Velociraptor, and more. Go on a realistic fossil dig. Take a ride on your favorite dinosaur. Bounce around in the prehistoric playground and a baby dinosaur meet and greet. Take an amazing dinosaur adventure. This weekend only. Wacomico Civic Center. Tickets at dinosauradventure.com.
Fall into planting at Bella Terrace Garden Center. Autumn is the perfect time of year for planting. Come check out our locally sourced collection of trees and shrubs of all shapes and sizes. Did you know? Bella Terra is open 7 days a week. Join our garden club for big savings and first access to all sale promotions. Stocked with the smallest of succulents to the tallest of trees, Bella Terrace Garden Center here for all your gardening needs. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram, located right off of Route 16 in Ellendale.
From the beaches to the bay, coverage you can count on. WRDE Coast TV News Today. Your morning news starts right now.
It's September 18th, 2023. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Pensick. 6:31 a.m. and well, we still have some rain to get through until we can start drying out. First Alert meteorologist Bob Trihey joins us now with a look at First Alert weather. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Matt. Looks like about another 3 hours we're in the rain. We're getting a little break right now. Millsboro, Westwoods, into Pittsville, near Ocean City, and up towards Rehoboth. It's just cloudy skies right now as some of that steadier rain is moving north. Milford seeing the rain, Greenwood, Ellendale. We have it here at Coast TV. There's our little dry slot. Millsboro, Selbyville, back into areas of northern Maryland. Eastern Shore, Maryland, a good chunk of you seeing the rain. Others not so much. And then into northern Maryland, you can see areas east of Salisbury towards the coast are dry, but west we're still seeing the rain. And that moisture continues to flow up from the south. We've got a cold front moving in and also low pressure developing to the south. So those are joining forces and giving us the rain this morning. Temperatures out the door into the mid-60s right now with the rain, and the winds are light and they will be shifting to the west, and we will still see the steady rain through about 9 a.m. and then it tapers off. We could actually see some breaks of sun late morning, temperatures in the 60s by noon, northwest wind, mostly cloudy skies. Then by mid-afternoon, we're into the sunshine and around 75 in Millsboro, Georgetown 76, lower 70s along the beaches. We've got a northwesterly breeze. So that's when we'll see the sun later in the day. But you might want to drive the kids to the bus stop this morning and really be careful driving around the bus. Stop for the bus when you see the stop sign out. It's going to be rainy, 64, and then it dries out for the kiddos this afternoon, heading home around 73.
All right, thanks a lot, Bob. The Blood Bank of Delmarva declared a blood emergency last week as they say donations have been low all summer long. Go straight to Coast TV News reporter Heidi Kirk, who is in the newsroom. And Heidi, the shortage in the first state, it's also part of a national emergency.
Matt, that's exactly what makes this shortage so tough. Normally, local blood banks, when they're short on supply, they go to the national level. But right now, pretty much everyone is short. Now, let me break down a few of the factors that are contributing here. Now, the Blood Bank of Delmarva says all of its 5 donation centers have been slow in the last several weeks, and actually slow overall this summer. Now, there are a few factors. Again, the blood bank says there's always a lull after kids go back to school and after school activities pick up. Parents can't can't get out to these donation centers as much as they'd like to, and the blood bank says there's also more travel in this period of time, and many people go off to vacation and they forget to donate. Now, at the end of the day, they had one message for anyone out there: get out and donate if you can, especially if you are type O. They say nationally that is an area that they are really lacking, and we have plenty of options on our website for where you can donate locally and on a national scale if you're visiting here and you want to pop into your local blood bank wherever you are. Again, we have that on our website, WRDE.com. Back to you.
All right, Heidi Kirk in the newsroom, thank you for that. Moving on, the Milton Fire Department announcing the addition of a new engine, and they posted a couple pictures that we're going to show you from their Facebook page. As you can see, the engine got right to work. Actually, if we don't have this picture, there we go. According to the department, the truck seats 6 firefighters and has 1,000 gallons of water, along with other firefighting tools. The truck assisted the Georgetown Fire Department on a camper fire over the weekend. Will Ocean City ever find that lost shaker of salt? Next step for the Margaritaville Resort in Ocean City takes place today. Tonight, a public hearing will be hosted. That meeting will focus on the air above Washington Lane. This is between 13th and 14th Street. Meanwhile, another meeting set for October will focus on the closure of Washington Lane and determining if it is needed for public use. Stango Park's future is taking shape in Lewis. A presentation is scheduled tonight for the Parks and Recreation meeting. It includes plans to replace the stage at Stango Park with an elevated one. Also wants to build a new garden. Plans are set to be heard again tonight. Lawyers for former President Trump are once again filing court papers to get federal judge Tanya Chutkan to recuse herself from the election interference case. In a new motion, the lawyers used Chutkan's own words against her, and she has overseen a number of cases involving defendants charged in the January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol and has condemned the actions of many of the rioters. Chutkan will ultimately make the decision whether she should recuse herself. More to come in our final half hour of Coast TV News today. The Whitehaven Ferry set to close starting this week. Details on how long that closure could last. Also, Ravens roll to 2-0. Lamar Jackson outduels Joe Burrow in a battle of big money quarterbacks. And a fire sends one person to the hospital for burns. What we're learning about its severity. Stay with us on Coast TV News today.
Today at 4 on Coast Life, hit the road in style with OC's first ever RV and van lifestyle event. Step into fall with fresh looks from VP Shoes. And we enjoy pumpkin spice delights from Cafe Rendezvous. Coast Life today at 4 on Coast TV.
Lyme disease affects over 400,000 people every year. If left untreated, it can lead to lifelong symptoms. Combining acupuncture and IV therapy with your antibiotics gives you the best quality of life.
Antibiotics in conjunction with Dr. Adams' treatments at Delmarva Acupuncture has really helped me just feel a lot better from where I was a year or two ago.
When you are bitten by a tick, send it off to get tested. If the test comes back positive, contact an expert to get proper treatment.
To learn more about Delmarva Acupuncture and Wellness Center, visit delmarvaexperts.com.
Don't miss the Delaware Resort's Fall Home Expo at Cape Henlopen High School in Lewis, September 23rd and 24th. Admission is free. 100 exhibitors from throughout the Delaware region will present their products and services. Come see a wide array of new home products and service companies, bath and kitchen design, landscaping, outdoor and indoor designers, realtors, retirement advisors, all under one roof. Many of the exhibitors will be giving away gifts and prizes, and parking is free. Don't miss the free Fall Home Expo, September 23rd and 24th at Cape Henlopen High School in Lewis.
We decided to do upgrades on our house that we had built ourselves. We were looking for a particular company that would be on the same page we were as far as craftsmanship and take pride in a job well done. Now we're having the bathroom done, and we went with Spicer Brothers. I've never seen anything as fast and as efficient.
Unbelievable how quick he is, and for a one-man show.
He has a passion for his craft, and he's so efficient. We're just so tickled to death to have him.
So before you sign, keep Bass by Spicer Brothers in mind.
On the next Tamron Hall, Blac Chyna reintroduced herself to the world as Angela White. Now a new, never-before-seen side of Angela we will reveal next Tamron Hall.
Monday at 3 on Coast TV.
It is a whiteout on our Tyndall's casual furniture cam. Look at this, just clouds all over the place because this is at elevation on a tower, this camera, 65 in Laurel. Below it, we're seeing the rain showers, but a little break from Lewis back through Millsboro, Westwoods, and Point South as the steadier rain has moved a little bit farther back to the west, but still seeing it here at Coast TV into Wapples, Ellendale. Once again, a little break through Millsboro, Frankfort, but farther west, we're in the rain. Cambridge, Madison, a good chunk of eastern Maryland is under that steady rain. Steady rain in Salisbury, and then from there east of the coast, it's just cloudy skies, maybe a little bit of drizzle. So we get a little break from the steady rain right along the coast, but more is filling in farther south as we're watching a low pressure and a frontal system that will continue to bring that moisture up. Temperatures are in the 60s out the door, mid-60s, so dress for the rain, and believe it or not, we will see sun later on. Here's our face of grace UV index, a practice in sun safety, only a 5 today, but 8s Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and back to a 6 on Friday. So today, the SPF, maybe 30 or so, but then you get into the 8s, you want that higher SPF, find the midday shade, limit time outdoors, and avoid the sun late morning into early afternoon. A lot of sun for the week ahead. I'll talk about that in more detail coming up.
All right, this morning, the Delaware State Fire Marshal will work to determine the cause of a weekend fire. There was an explosion and an injury, and that's what we're getting from the Rehoboth Beach Volunteer Fire Company. This was after a call on Saturday. Now, you can see some of the damage in these pictures that we're showing you. According to officials, the structure fire happened at Cottage Court off of Angola Road. Crews reportedly found an injured person with minor burns in a small fire in what they call the structure. The fire was quickly brought under control, and the patient was taken to Beebe Medical Center in Lewis. And we have another weekend fire to tell you about. This was in Salisbury, and the fire burned this shed to the ground. You can see the damage from the photos that were posted by the Salisbury Fire Department's Facebook page. According to that post, this shed was located on the 30,000 block of Wilton Avenue. There was also some damage to the nearby home. No word yet on the cost of the damage. SC North is home to 2 of the 3 highest-paid quarterbacks in the NFL. Number 1 on the list is the Bengals' Joe Burrow, with the Ravens' Lamar Jackson only a few $1 million behind in third. Burrow may have more bucks. It's Jackson so far this season with more wins. The Grade 8, a winner in the opener last week, while Burrow had a terrible outing last week in Cleveland. So we go to the third. Bengals threatening to take the lead. That's when Burrow is picked by Geno Stone. And the Ravens take advantage of this turnover. Right away, Jackson looks for the big play. How about 52 yards to Zay Flowers? Hauls it in at the 10. Baltimore in business. 2 plays later, Jackson to Mark Andrews, touchdown. The Ravens would survive a little scare from the Bengals, but hang on for a 27-24 win. And for the moment, they have sole possession of first place in the division. Washington also looking to go to 2-0. They are in a trip in Denver. Trailing by 7 in the second quarter, Sam Howell finds that tight window. Terry McLaurin, what a catch. We are tied at 21. Fourth quarter, it's Brian Robinson. Gets moving to the outside, keeps moving to the outside, finds the end zone. Game over for Washington, right? Well, hold on. 3 seconds left. Hail Mary time. Russell Wilson delivers. Brandon Johnson with the touchdown. The lead now down to 2. 2-point conversion to send it to overtime. It's broken up. Whew, mile-high thriller. Adjust the pacemakers back to neutral, and yes, Washington is off to a 2-0 start. In entertainment news, a popular performer back at number 1 in an upcoming movie is to receive a first-of-its-kind honor. Here's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
Olivia Rodrigo's sophomore album, Guts, has debuted atop the Billboard 200 with the singer-songwriter's best week yet. Her first album, Sour, also started out at number 1 on the Billboard 200, making Rodrigo the first female artist since Ariana Grande nearly a decade ago to debut her first 2 albums atop that chart.
On August 28th, black, white, young, old, rich, working class, poor will descend on Washington, D.C.
And on November 27th, the Gotham Awards will honor Rustin, the man and the movie. The 33rd Gotham Awards ceremony will include its first Icon and Creator tribute, honoring Bayard Rustin, the activist and organizer of the 1968 March on Washington, and celebrating the new film that tells his story. Rustin, starring Coleman Domingo, debuts in select theaters November 3rd and on Netflix November 17th. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
It's a wet and gloomy start to our Monday. Hershey exteriors cam indicating that the gray slate skies, 66 in Ocean City. So plan accordingly this morning for the rain. It will be a rainy start to the week. Clearing skies later today, and much of the week looks great weather-wise. I'll break it down on Futurecast coming up after the break on Coast TV News Today.
Burton at the beach. Take your pick. Up to $4,100 off new Buick Encore and Envision SUVs in stock. Check out our large inventory at lewisautomall.com. Nobody beats a Burton deal on Buick SUVs. Nobody.
Love is in the air with our first ever couples championship. This is beautiful.
We're going to get to that buzzer together.
Wow. How's date night going?
Ninja Warrior Couples Championship tonight on NBC and streaming on Peacock.
The top AGT acts of the season are one step closer to headlining our show in Vegas.
Brilliant. AGT Live, Tuesday and Wednesday on NBC and streaming on Peacock.
The Berlin Chamber of Commerce presents 3 days of live bluegrass music at the Berlin Fiddlers Convention. Friday, September 22nd through Sunday, September 24th. Open to all with musicians from across the nation. Don't miss the Berlin Fiddlers Convention, September 22nd through the 24th. More info at berlinchamber.org.
Burton at the beach. Drive off in a new 23 GMC Terrain for only $249 per month. Or get this 2023 GMC Acadia for only $279 a month. Nobody beats a Burton deal on GMC SUVs. Nobody.
WRDE weather brought to you by Window World of Delmarva. Simply the best for less.
Window World of Delmarva will bring quality and beauty to your home, replacing your roof system the right way. Replacing your roof is not just shingles, it's a complete engineered system. We'll help you with your roofing project from start to finish. Save $500 off a new CertainTeed roofing system, offering better protection, durability, and many colors to choose from.
No matter the size of the project, you can trust Window World of Delmarva to get it done right.
Call now for a free estimate.
6:46 on this Monday morning. We got a live look there with our Boardwalk Plaza camera in Rehoboth Beach. It's one of my favorite shots, and that pretty much describes, I think, what we may be feeling, certainly what we're seeing on this Monday, gloomy, wet morning. And Bob, as we bring you back in here, I got my Coast TV weather app. I'm scrolling through. A lot of yuckiness in the early part. We do have some sun later on today.
We do. And good job on the app, Matt, and a lot of different icons. We've got the rain icons this morning, the sun icons this afternoon. We saw the ocean there. It's a little flatter. I was at Bethany Beach on Friday taking pictures of the waves from Lee, and they were really rolling in them, but starting to calm down now. Make sure you do scan that QR code to get the Coast TV weather app. And clouds and radar, well, we're starting to see a little gap in the rain now through parts of eastern Delaware, so that's good. It was soaking some areas upwards of close to an inch of rain from this morning. Now along the coast, we are quiet for now, but it's still raining farther back to the west. Now north of Coast TV, we're seeing the rain, Milford, Spring Hill into Kent County, Farmington, Greenwood as well. But once again, you can see a big chunk of Delaware and northern Maryland not seeing the rain. It's farther to the west where we're seeing some of that heavy rain. Bucktown, Robbins, back through Taylor's Island, some heavy rain there. Nanacoke also seeing some of the heavy rain. So watch out in this area. You are seeing that steady rain, and that's also the case towards Salisbury and Princess Anne right now. But farther to the east, we are a little drier towards the coast right now, and you can see more rain back into the Norfolk area. So we still have a couple more hours to go before it's all said and done. We have a front moving through right now with low pressure developing along it, and that's why we're seeing the rain. Out the door, temperatures into the 64 to 66 degree range right now. now. The wind's beginning to shift to the north as the front is moving through. So we will see those winds continue to pick up from the north and northwest. And eventually the rain we're seeing this morning, I think will end around 9, 10 o'clock. And then we're looking at mostly cloudy skies. Winds picking up from the northwest. We begin the drying process later this morning. And then by afternoon, we're in full sunshine. Mid-70s from Selbyville back through Millsboro, Georgetown. A beautiful day and temperatures in the 70s along the beaches. If you're out and about this evening, looking great. Clear skies, bring the windbreaker. It will be a little cooler, and by morning, temperatures into the 50s to start the day. And then we're in the mid-70s later on Tuesday, cooling back into the 60s as we go into Tuesday evening. We're seeing the wind shifting to the north behind that front this morning, and they could get a little gusty this afternoon out of the northwest, maybe over 20 miles per hour at times, and still a bit of a breeze as we go into tonight and tomorrow morning. So dress appropriately. It will be a little cooler and still a little breezy Tuesday evening. Here's our muggy meter behind the front. We dry it out. We get into the comfortable range for a couple of days, up into the muggy range again on Thursday, and then it drops Thursday and Friday. And then into the weekend, there is a question mark because we will see an area of low pressure developing to our south, and it could bring wind and maybe heavy rain. This is one model's depiction, but rain possibly heavy on Saturday, and some of those showers linger into Sunday and Monday. So we'll be watching that. Your Paul Davis 7-day forecast. 75 today with the morning rain, afternoon sun, and then cool 50s beginning Tuesday morning right through Friday morning. 76 Tuesday afternoon, upper 70s Wednesday and Thursday. Friday mostly cloudy, and then it could be rainy and windy into the weekend. We'll continue to watch that system with highs into the 70s.
All right, Bob, the Whitehaven Ferry, it's going to be out of service for rehabilitation and overhaul, and it starts tomorrow, actually. It's expected to be closed for 3 to 4 months. 6:49 on this Monday morning. Time to check in with our Coastal Pet of the Day. It's brought to us by Maggie's Pet Boutique, and we're going to start the week off with not one, but two Delaware dogs, Jameson and Kona. Both were rescued as puppies. They live in Long Neck, and look, if it wasn't clear by now, we can confirm that they do indeed love the beach. Well, hey, who doesn't around here? Jameson is the Black Chow mix, and Kona is the Brown Pit mix. These two are best buds. Thank you, Cindy, for sending us the pictures of these dogs. And we want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. Send us photos and tell us what makes them so special. Take a look at your screen. You can email us at content@WRDE.com. Then watch weekdays from 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature. There's another thing. Also, you can enter your furry friends in the BVSPCA's 2024 Picture Paw Perfect Pet Photo Contest. The winning first-place pet will be featured as the 2024 cover pet. Plus, they will be given the choice of their featured month in the calendar. All this information, you can find it on our website, WRDE.com, and our app. Just search Pet Photo Contest.
The sun is rising as we speak, but the problem is we have a lot of clouds blocking the sun. In fact, it's a gloomy start to our Monday. Our tunnel and racer cam showing that 64 in Lewis right now. Watch for large puddles out there this morning and take it slow on the roads as we continue to watch the rain moving through. That will taper off later this morning, and then we'll see some sun as we go into this afternoon. In fact, much of the week looks quiet and pleasant, possibly more rain for the weekend. I'll have the 10-day forecast coming up next.
Bruno! Pup on the run? No problem. With 5 drive modes, Rogue makes this a walk in the park.
Drive the Nissan Rogue. Now get a low $359 per month lease on Rogue.
The 11th Annual True Blue Jazz Festival is coming your way October 11th through 15th. The big bands, vocal divas, the virtuoso players like Camille Thurman and the Darryl Green Quartet, Bobby Sanabria's Multiverse Latin Jazz Big Band, Jerry Weldon, Terrell Stafford, Libby York, Paula Johns, the annual Big Band Jazz Marathon, ticketed and free concerts with great local and regional jazz acts in Rehoboth Beach and Lewis, Delaware for everyone. Make plans to be there at the 11th Annual True Blue Jazz Festival. Get your tickets now. See the complete schedule at truebluejazz.org.
Dinosaur Adventure roars into Salisbury. One weekend only. Wycomico Civic Center. With life-size dinosaurs and massive family fun. Experience the thrill of the prehistoric age. Featuring the ferocious T-Rex, Triceratops, Velociraptor, and more. Go on a realistic fossil dig. Take a ride on your favorite dinosaur. Bounce around in the prehistoric playground. And a baby dinosaur meet and greet. Take an amazing dinosaur adventure. This weekend only. Wycomico Civic Center. Tickets at DinosaurAdventure.com.
Bay to Beach Builders is celebrating 20 years of helping families on Delmarva turn their dreams into reality. As one of the highest-rated home builders in the nation, we pride ourselves on offering the best home building experience. Choose from our award-winning home designs, or we can customize a plan that's tailored to your lifestyle. With Amish-built homes starting in the low 200s, we have a home for every stage of life and every budget. Start your journey by visiting one of our 2 convenient locations, or learn more at baytobeachbuilders.com.
It's football season, and Delmarva Sports Network takes you into the action with Down and Distance, a new show with the Friday Night Lights matchup of the week, plus Delmarva players to watch, top plays of the week, Bayside and Henlopen Conference power rankings, and exclusive interviews with players and coaches. Tune in to DSN Fridays prior to our game of the night this fall season. Down and Distance, only on the Delmarva Sports Network. Local teams, big dreams.
Bruno! Pup on the run? No problem. With 5 drive modes, Rogue makes this a walk in the park.
Drive the Nissan Rogue. Now get a low $359 per month lease on Rogue.
5:54 a.m. and time for things to know before you go. And happening today, the will they or won't they over a proposed Margaritaville resort in Ocean City continues. A public hearing is going to take place tonight that will focus on the air above Washington Lane. That's between 13th and 14th Street. Meanwhile, another meeting set for October will focus on the closure of Washington Lane and determine if it is needed for public use. Staying in Ocean City, the Beach Patrol has made a few changes to surfing restrictions. Hurricane Lee's been impacting the entire East Coast. And there are rules. Surfers must always wear a leash attached to their boards. Surfers must grant right-of-way to swimmers at all times. Skimboards and stand-up paddleboards with paddles not permitted currently there in Ocean City. Nearly 100 apartments could be coming to Milton, according to town documents. An entity called Chestnut Properties is looking to build 96 apartments. We're showing you the location on your screen. This would be off of Cave Neck Road near Sam Lucas Road. A preliminary site plan approval scheduled to be heard Tuesday night. Starting a new week with a blood emergency across Sussex County, the Blood Bank of Delmarva announced it's low on supply, urging people to donate. The Red Cross also declared a blood emergency last week, stating that fewer donors than needed gave this summer. Officials say that hurricanes in the southeast led to a shortage of blood and platelet donations. Oriole fans, big one yesterday at Camden Yards. The Birds' 11th inning win over the Rays clinched the team's first playoff berth in 7 years. This has been a long rebuild with some of the worst baseball in MLB history played by the Birds. Over 105 losses 3 times in a recent 4-year span. But the Orioles, they're back in the playoffs, and now they have their eyes on a division crown. The Italian city of Venice is not on the United Nations danger list. The World Heritage Committee had warned earlier this summer that Italy was not doing enough to protect Venice. The threats to the romantic city are listed as over-tourism, development, and climate change. Despite these risks, Venice was not added to the endangered list. As part of its program to control tourism, Venice is adopting an entrance fee of about $5 a day for daily sightseers. We're moving to 6:56 a.m. on this Monday morning. We're going to bring back First Alert meteorologist Bob Trahey. Wet start, but we do have a window of dryness coming up.
I think so. You know, some of our streets looking like Venice a little bit this morning, Matt. Certainly pretty wet out there. Not to the degree that Venice, you don't need a gondola, whatever they call those boats. But we are seeing some drying now. 113 into the coast. We are looking at just cloudy skies, but we are seeing some showers farther to the west. Seaford, Bridgeville, Eastern Shore, Maryland, and more of that rain continues through mid-morning. Then it will end. Otherwise, cloudy skies and then some afternoon sun. Temperatures warming into the mid-70s. Your Paul Davis 10-day forecast. We dry it out and cool it off. 50s beginning Tuesday morning. 76 Tuesday, upper 70s Wednesday and Thursday. Clouds increase Friday, mid-70s. And I am concerned about some rain and wind possibly for next weekend. We're watching that. And that could linger into Monday as well. And then it dries out Tuesday and Wednesday.
All right, thanks, Bob. And thank you for joining us here on Coast TV News Today. The Today Show's coming up next at 7 a.m. And then we'll be back with Coast TV News midday at 11 a.m. So stick with us for that. And for even more news and coverage you can count on, you can go ahead and download our Coast TV News and Weather apps. Have a great Monday morning, everybody.